Still is 9th of January, it is 19:04, 100 hours Central European Time. This video serves one particular purpose, though I'll mention a couple of things, just mention them. First of all, in the video I uploaded a few hours ago, I spoke therein of a video from last night. That was actually earlier today in the morning. That video that in the last video I referred to, that is because they keep me sleeping at unnatural times that are not identical to the time zones here. That is, they don't keep me sleeping, they allow me, or I escape their torture only at times of the day when hereabouts one typically would not sleep, and they work routines that affect my phases to the extent that a day starts after one slept. Okay, greatly simplifying. That's not what I want to really talk about. I've been watching a little YouTube again, and I've been watching old episodes of that Mitchell and Webb show, a comedy show from, I think the BBC did it, from 10 years ago, or over 10 years ago, with, I dare say, after having watched most of the episodes of the first 2 seasons, I'm not sure how many seasons there were, on YouTube you find 2 seasons, there is a bit of my writing credits in there. For completeness sake, I just want to point that out. I find it very interesting, and it also goes to show once more how long I have been utilized for ghostwriting shit, okay? Just for completeness sake. It was about, I guess, coincidentally, pretty much the same time probably. I'm not perfectly sure. Well, let's see, I can just look this up. Because I did mention in the past how I found out that this shit here, Star Trek Enterprise, is actually to a large extent scripted by me, at least the first season, especially some of the characters. So it's more like the basic character work and character behavior description work, and basically the expose for a couple of things, not really specific episodes. So even with some of these episodes, I've watched the entire first season. Now I just ordered a few days ago second season. I've never seen any of this before. I got me these DVDs recently. Just as this is my handwriting, some Mitchell Webb stuff is my handwriting. One of their sketches, and finally we get to the point of this here video, one of their sketches made me realize, more very, very indirectly in the periphery of realization, about something pertaining to the OMD, namely that there might be a similar effect worked on the OMD that is being worked on the KGB. As I explained in one of my past videos months and months ago, there are some people out there who virtually are still declared as KGB, even though the KGB long ceased to exist. There still is a completely delusional KGB out there. I want to point this out. And the interesting thing is, there might be some people who worked something like that for the old OMD. Even though the old OMD all got betrayed and are all dead, they all got rooted out, some people might keep up the impression that something like the OMD, specifically on LDN, still exists and still were active, when that ain't so. Now the interesting thing is, those two situations would be very different. I mean, a delusionally, virtually kept alive KGB would work some completely different ways than the similar such OMD. I do want to point this out, but what I also want to point out is that unlike with the KGB situation, where that is done deliberately, the OMD situation of such a delusion of some OMD still being out there and operating might either be likewise deliberately caused by some Facsimony interest groups, or, no shit, accidentally have come around because of wrongly declaring things as things and trying to dragging along past achievements of predecessors and so on and so forth. This has very indirect workings into battle standards, where on them you have battle honors going back 200 years or something, right? That today they claim, even though they really have nothing to do with them, and because of certain things and who conquered the OMD and who did away with them and whatnot, some people out there might still smell of OMD, even though they have nothing to do with OMD. But I want to explain to the world, especially all the interest groups on Albion specifically, and all those who have delusions about the OMD still being around and trying to conquer the OMD, sorry, not conquer, that's not the word I mean, trying to contact, that's the word, trying to contact the OMD, maybe hoping that the OMD still were out there. The OMD is dead. They are fucking done away with because fucking Charles fucking betrayed them. There is no OMD, just as there ain't no KGB. Now, with the KGB case, there's some fuckers, especially in America, who go, oh, you have no idea what we're doing with the KGB. I assure you there is a KGB. That situation with that delusional OMD is a completely different situation from that delusional KGB. Once more, there is no OMD, but I came to understand that in the minds of some people, there might be the erroneous belief and delusion that there still were this day an OMD out there when they've been done away with ages ago. There is no more OMD. I want to make this very clear. That's the point of this video. And before I go, I'm not sure this is being picked up. LOW number 14, lecture on war number 14. I might do that in a video tomorrow or day after tomorrow, whenever, one of these days, for the simple reason really that I'm not going to say what it says here, but it led to the realization that there is another thing that may or may not be worked into this lecture or become a lecture all by itself. And then again, it is that other thing really such a general, all aspects considered thing that I wonder how I'd number that, because I already used up number 0. And this particular thing here on the sheet of paper would be number 14, but that thing it leads to really is a more general thing. And so I still have to work out how to number these lectures of war before I give them to you. But I want to point out some lecture of war material one of these days, but especially because I watched some Mitchell and Webb, some of that my writing credit, some of it in the periphery made me realize certain things about the OMD, and that ain't so. There is no OMD, okay? Nor, not to have this misunderstood, Jessica, you won't misunderstand this by yourselves, but some fuckers will try to make you wrongly understand that, be it by lying to you or by working that in your head. It's not that you have KGB out there who think to be KGB. It's not that the delusion is that there's a bunch of Russians or non-Russians, as the case be, who go through life and, oh, they have no idea that we, the KGB, still exist. That is not what's happening out there, right? This is a declarative thing that is only worked on the phases and not really on the more aware aspects and so on and so forth of the people out there, okay? But what I mean is, it's not just that there is no OMD anymore, there is not even people who delude to be the OMD, okay? Because if there are people wrongly declared OMD, some people might argue we have to do something about them because see, there they are, as if those people were behaving like they were OMD or they all knew what the OMD was, when they ain't and don't. So please understand that there is a chance, I'd say better than 50-50 actually, I'd say 75-25, thereabouts, a 75% chance that just as there is 100% fact, a delusional KGB kept up, some fuckers on Albion, be it by deliberation or because they didn't think through some of the consequences or side effects of all their hijacking of the functionality and whatnot, and their general ignorance when it comes to using those, infantry app and all that stuff, might have accidentally created some delusional, still to this day to be found, OMD, when the OMD is not around anymore. Very important. The OMD is history. Don't hope for it to be there because it ain't. It's history. And don't fear for it to be there because it ain't. It's history. Nor is it ever going to come back because, like, out of where? It ain't going to happen. There is no OMD, but there might be a delusional OMD out there. That's what I want you to know.